Today we're working on 1-6, lesson 1-6, ordered pairs and relations. You're going to need to be able to sketch a graph today in your notebook or have some kind of graph paper with you. I have some in my room if you want it, but otherwise if you can just sketch something on your notebook, it'll work just fine. All right, so a few vocabulary words we have today is coordinate system, which is formed by the intersection of a horizontal and vertical number line. So it's a number line going up and down and a number line going sideways. And then we have the origin, which is 0, 0. So that's right where those intersection is and where they meet. The x-axis is the horizontal axis, which means this way. Okay. Vertical, that's the y. It goes up and down. When you see an ordered pair, the x always comes first. So going back and forth goes first. And then y up and down is second. And it's always like that. So make sure you get these things written down. Oops. Okay. All right. So let's just look at the coordinate plane quick. Okay. So, and we're just going to make one so you can remember how to make one. Coordinate plane. Let's see. These two are positive numbers. So, and it's a good idea to start on the line because that's where we're going to be plotting a lot of our points. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this way is negative number. Oh, I'm sorry, negative numbers. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. Negative this way. Okay, just like that. That's what it looks like. So let's just refresh our memory again. If you are going to plot a point, let's say this is our 2, 6. Let's say that's our coordinate pair, and we got this is x and y. So we're gonna do is we're gonna find 2 on the x-axis. So we're gonna go 1, 2. So here's 2, and then this y we're gonna go up to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's where we would plot our point. So first you're going to go from left to right, then you're going to go up and down. Some people get this confused because when we get to slope, it's kind of the opposite way, but right now you go over and right to left first, and then up and down, and then you plot your point. Okay, so for the coordinate plane, it's actually split into 4 quadrants. Okay, the quadrant 1 is up here. And this right here tells you that to have a point in quadrant 1, both of them are positive numbers. So like, for example, 4, 3, they're both positives. They're going to end up in quadrant 1. Then we go over here to quadrant 2. It goes counterclockwise. And everything in quadrant 2, the first number is going to be a negative. The second one's going to be a positive. Okay, so that's an example of a point that would be in quadrant 2. Quadrant 3, we're going down this way. Quadrant 3 has all negative numbers in it. So this would be like negative 5 and then negative 1. That's the example of a point that would be in quadrant 3. Quadrant 4 is a positive and a negative. That's an example of a point that's in quadrant 4. That's going to come up later on in your homework and in the book, so make sure you get this written down. Even if you just want to sketch it out kind of like this and just label the quadrant and say what points go in there, that would be a really good idea so you have it later on because I know this comes up later on. Okay, so let's just practice plotting some points quick. I have a coordinate plane sketch, and if you want to do this in your notebook, that'd be a really, really good idea just to have an idea and an example. So I'm actually going to label these. This is going to be A, B, C, and D. There we go. We're going to label these. So first I'm going to do A, and it's negative 1, negative 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is on my x-axis, because this is the x, I'm going to go to negative 1. Negative 1 is right here. So I'm going to go to negative 1, and then I'm going to go down to negative 2 because that's what my y says. So right here, this should be point A. Okay, then I'm going to do B. The ones with the zeros are the hardest just because you don't move anywhere with the zero. So for B, I'm going to go over to negative 5. And then since 0 is the y, that means I'm not moving up or down. This is where my B is going to be right here. C is 2, negative 3, so I'm going to go over to 2 on my x-axis, and then down to negative 3, and there would be my C. And then D is negative 3, so I'm going to go to negative 3 on my x-axis, and up to 2, and that's my D right there. I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to do, or we'll make this a E, and I want to do 0, 5. Okay, that means that if it's a 0 first, you're going to stay right in the origin, because this is the origin, if you remember. This is 0, 0. So if I look on my x-axis, there's no 0, but the middle is the 0. So like I actually could put that as a 0 right there. And then up to 5, this would be E. I'm telling you, the ones with the zeros are the hardest ones to do, just because people get confused about they don't have to go anywhere, and those are the hardest ones. So really, really be careful of those. So make sure you know how to plot some points. If you're confused about this, make sure you ask about this in class again. We can go over it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you pull points off of a plot. So we have A, B, C, D, and E, and I want you to find point A, and I want you to think to yourself what the point would be. If you had to list the coordinates, what would the point be? First, you're going to go to your x-axis and then to your y-axis. So for this one, I would go, for example, I'm going to go this way first, and then I'm going to go down. So this would be -4, -4. I'm going to erase that quick. There we go. And then let's go to B. So B, I'm going over to -2, but I'm not going up or down. So that would be a 0. For C, I'm going to go over to 1. So 1 would be my first coordinate. And up to 5. Okay, D, be over to 3. So 3 is my first coordinate. And then down to -2. And the last is E. Well, I don't have this labeled. 6, 7, 8, 9. So if you are paying attention, you're going to go all the way over to 8. 8 is my first coordinate, and up to 3. There's my second. So make sure you know how to find the coordinates. You're always going to start at the origin, always going to start at the origin to find your first coordinate, and then you're going to go either up or down to find your second. This really should just be a review, I would think. Okay, another thing, this is new to you this year, it's the domain and range. A relation is a set of ordered pairs. So what they're going to do is they're going to give you a set of ordered pairs. For example, this. Okay, that's called a relation, all of it together, all the set of ordered pairs, those 4 ordered pairs. And the domain is a set of x coordinates, and the range is the set of y coordinates. If you see, I can already have it kind of labeled for you or color-coded. Everything in the blue would be the domain. Everything in the red would be red would be range. Another really easy way, and they might ask you to do this in your book, and they might ask you to make a table and label the domain and range. So this is what you do. You could do x and y, and then take your point and put it in here. So 1, 2, and then do this thing with this one. You're going to do 2, 4, and then you'd have 3, 0, and you'd have 4, 5. And then everything on this side will be the domain. Everything on this side would be the range. This is in your homework today. So make sure you know how you could label the domain and the range. So the domain are always the x's, and ranges are always the y's. Okay, so here's an example. It says make a table using the relation. It's up on top. There's 3 points up there. Determine the domain and range. Why don't you go ahead and try that right now? Pause me and then try it on your own piece of paper. Okay, so this is probably what you should have done. Make a chart. Call it a T-chart if you want. You're going to put your x and your y, and you're going to take your first point, and you're going to split it up, 0, 0. Because this is the x, and this is the y. Then you're going to do it with this one, 1, 4. And you're going to do it with the last one, 5, 8. This side is the domain. This side is the range. And that's honestly all you have to do for that. That's it. All right, that's all I really have for you today. Make sure that if you have any questions, you get them written down in your notebook. Make sure you took some good notes. If you need some graph paper and maybe you just want to keep it in your folder or in your book bag or in your book, you're more than welcome to do that. So I'll see you tomorrow.